I spent 3 incredible days on board Star of the Seas, diving into the food, watching jaw-dropping shows in disbelief, exploring the ship's uniquely Royal Caribbean features, and experiencing a great private area on perfect day at CocoCay. I'm about to show you if Star of the Seas, a $2 billion floating city, actually lives up to the hype. Hey, what's up? It's Corey. Star of the Seas embarks from Cruise Terminal 1 at Port Canaveral. This newly built, bright, modern space handles Royal Caribbean's mega ships like Star and Utopia of the Seas. It was only a few minutes and I was already heading up the gangway here, heading to my home for the next 3 nights, with a quick stop to check out the view of the world's newest cruise ship on my way in. You board Star on Deck 5, Midships, entering into the Royal Promenade. This space is a sprawling 2-story hub that you'll visit pretty much every day of your cruise on Star. If you're interested in booking your own cruise on Star, by the way, Icon or Legend, just scan this QR code or click the link in the video description to browse for the dates and the pricing that fits you. You'll get expert help from my friends at Cruises It. They're the folks who book my cruises too, and they even find like these cool extras like onboard credit that you can't get when you book directly through the cruise lines. With this being the original first cruise for Star of the Seas, before they added extras, there were a lot of other content creators on board. So it wasn't long before I ran into 2 of my favorites, Jason and Elisa from EECC Travels. I met these 2 back in 2001 on board Odyssey of the Seas, back when my YouTube videos looked more like a potato than they do today, and we ended up hanging out and doing a little bit of a bar crawl on the upper decks of Star. We ended up visiting 5 bars and made some other new friends along the way. Some of my favorite stops at this pub crawl were at the Hideaway bar. It overlooks the aft of the ship up on Deck 15, and it offers some of the best people watching on the whole ship. Even though it's been a super dry summer here in Central Florida, somehow it ended up pouring rain while we were out here. I don't know what happened. So we waited for the rain to lighten up and ran on over to the next bar, which is the Basecamp bar. This is a really large covered area next to Thrill Island Water Park and the Lost Dunes Putt-Putt course. And even though it kept raining and thundering, nothing could stop the fun we were having. Elisa brought over some snacks from Basecamp, some tasty pretzel bites with cheese, and a cheeseburger that tasted exactly like a White Castle slider. Try it if you don't believe me. I loved this thing. And before long, it was time to get ready for dinner and the formal christening ceremony for Star of the Seas. But before we get there, let's visit my cabin now. Number 12278. It's a gorgeous balcony room with a surprising amount of thoughtful touches for modern day cruise travel. I think this room felt the largest of any balcony I've ever stayed in. I think it was kind of a spacious version though. It featured a large bed with a pull-out sleeper sofa near the balcony. These rooms feature a ton of power outlets and plug solutions. Almost everywhere you look, there are USB-C outlets and plugs at the desk, more USBs on both sides of the bed, and even another double plug in the bathroom that you can actually use to charge things. Speaking of the bathroom, wow, this is an all-new design only on Icon-class ships, and somehow Royal Caribbean has found a way to fit a full-size walk-in shower in here. Now, normally I cruise solo, so all of this would be mine, but this time I'm along for the sailing with my travel agency hosts from Cruises It. So there ended up being 3 of us in this cabin, and it still worked out fairly comfortable, I think, for everybody. After all of the day's activities, I headed into the main dining room on Deck 3 for a little celebratory dinner. Lobster tail was on the menu, and my friends were already there waiting. I ate quickly and took in the ship's band in the music hall after dinner before heading out to the promenade for a celebratory midnight balloon drop. And somehow I stood in the exact spot where absolutely no balloons ended up dropping, so I didn't get a chance to pop or boop any of them this time. And that's it for day 1. The next day, I was up bright and late, and decided to do a bit of exploring on the ship and try out some of the food offerings that are unique to this class of ship. On Deck 15 forward, you can find the AquaDome Marketplace. It's an included food venue that consists of food cart style stands offering dishes from all over the place. From crêpes to barbecue or pad thai to Greek, there's something for everyone in this venue. And as I've been on a Greek kick at home lately, that's what I went with. At this stand, you order kind of like you would at Chipotle. Just going down the line, choosing a base, protein, and then your toppings. Definitely don't miss asking for an extra pita with tzatziki from here. It's awesome and it's a great extra snack. Now, I ate this lunch out in a quiet spot in the AquaDome itself. Not a lot of people know about this area for eating, so it's super chill. And as luck would have it, they were practicing for tonight's upcoming show out here while I had lunch. As of the time I sailed on Star, they're still running a preview version of this show in particular, Torque, meaning that some of the more intensive and dangerous acts are yet to be fully fleshed into the actual show. However, being here for practice meant I actually got to see that dangerous portion of the production being practiced. Just forward from the AquaTheater is the overlook area of the ship. It's a multi-story glass atrium that looks something like John Hammond at Jurassic Park might keep his flying dinosaurs in.
John Hammond, spared no expense. We spared no expense.
There's 2 bars in here, the most unique of which is rye and bean, and that's exactly where I ran into Fane from the YouTube channel Travel Spree. He recommended a few drinks from rye and bean, and I tried them both. The Kettle One Espresso Martini, or Espresso Martini, was super smooth without being too sweet. And I also was talked into trying a secret menu item here called a tiny beer by some random strangers up at the bar as I was waiting for my drink. When you meet strangers at the bar on cruise ships, oftentimes you end up drinking with strangers. Here, we got a mini beer. And try it out. It comes with a warning. The tiny beer was really popular, as you can see by all 5 of them. I had to make my way down to meet up with Jason and Elisa at this point to keep working on our pub crawl, and we found ourselves down at the English pub. But on the way there, I was treated to the traveling piano player in the elevator. He was super busy on this cruise, and I saw him all over the place throughout 3 different days. And apparently, I look like I'm from a certain generation because this guy just immediately started playing Backstreet Boys. At the pub, or English pub, as you'll see it on the map, I ordered a seltzer, even though Jason thought I should order a beer. After a little while, I explored the promenade a bit on my own on my way to dinner. There were a lot of people with theories about how the tiles inside of the pearl that's in here move around. They kind of wave. Some say it's with the motion of the ocean. Others say they mimic the energy of who's walking through the pearl. Now, I wondered if the pearl would get extra excited when it came near another ship with a pearl, like it's some sort of alien communication thing, but it turns out it's pretty much just doing its own thing. Or is it? Dinner tonight was in the main dining room. I sat at a huge table with fellow creators who you may know by their faces, but you definitely know by their work. I know you've seen it on here. In here, it was Caribbean night, which is the one theme night I dislike. But the crispy coconut shrimp were awesome. I would order that again. I also picked up the jerk chicken dinner here, but I would probably go with the steak dinner if I had to do it over again. After dinner, it was off to take in one of the signature events on Star of the Seas, the AquaTheater show Torque. Torque is a high-energy aqua show that can only be found on Star. It has a loose storyline about speed and cars and driving fast, but to be honest, the best way I could describe it is a bunch of really cool stuff happening all the time. Torque features a mix of athletic artists, synchronized swimmers, dancers, and slackliners, along with cutting-edge technology and immersive visuals. The reservations here are limited, but even if you miss getting one, you can get in a standby line that lets you in 10 minutes before the showtime starts. I recommend waiting in the line by the Rye and Bean bar. It's a shorter line for standby than the one in the center, and not a lot of people stand over here. Following Torque, I had a late night snack at Crème de la Crêpe, gotta say it like you're French, in the AquaDome marketplace. This venue is open very late and was seriously my favorite spot to grab a bite late night. I ordered a banana Nutella crepe. We're gonna try the crepes. Let's see what it's like. Nice little spread, nice little bite. One of my favorite things to do on cruises is to walk around and take in the nighttime aesthetic around the cruise ship. And Star of the Seas has one of the most gorgeous aesthetics at night you're going to find anywhere. From the sprawling Central Park to the relaxing and sexy vibes of the Hideaway to the bright colors of Thrill Island and Surfside, this ship can keep you entertained for hours just walking around and taking in the sights and sounds. In Surfside, you can just spin round and round on the carousel and admire the 2-story flamingo art piece while enjoying an ice cream cone, or relax the pace a bit and stroll through Central Park, listening to the sounds of crickets and soft music coming from Lou's. Day 3 is the last day on board for me, and it's about to be one of the busiest. I started off heading up top to film my members only behind the scenes video for this cruise. It's something I do for the channel members who support me here on this platform, so if you'd like to see it, consider joining the channel. Afterwards, I walked around a bit more, enjoying the view of Icon of the Seas that had docked right next to us earlier that morning at CocoCay. I walked towards the back of the ship to see the island, but got a little distracted by these chairs at Basecamp that really made me think of Fred Flintstone's car for some reason. Like, I really hope at some point someone sits on one of these, slaps their feet on the floor, and yells yabba dabba doo. I also stopped along my way and waved at Norwegian Cruise Lines and their private island before making it all the way to the aft for this amazing view of Perfect Day at CocoCay. It's actually been over a year since I've been here, and I am really excited to get out there and see all the new stuff they've added on here at CocoCay. But first, a rookie mistake was made. I grabbed a towel while I was on board, and when you visit CocoCay, you can actually check out a towel on the island, so you don't have to be like me and carry it out there with you. Walking off the Star of the Seas only to be smacked in the peepers by Icon of the Seas is literally an experience that no one should miss. It's only happened one other time, and I hope you all get the chance to check out these two ships together sometime in the future. The only difference I could spot between the two was way back here at the aft. On the crown and anchor logo, Star has an added white accent where Icon doesn't. There you go, ship nerds. There's your trivia for the day. Here at Perfect Day, there are so many things to do that there's no way I can tell you about all of them. I did notice, though, that Royal Caribbean had kindly loaded a Thrill Water Park pass onto my account for the day. And seeing as I've not done this before, I explored a bit and did a slide for once in my life. Sadly, though, you can't film on them, at least not with my delicate little camera, so you'll just have to imagine how cool I looked. Afterwards, I needed to make my way over to Hideaway Beach for a little party that was going on with the group I was cruising with. And being a man, I decided I didn't need no stinking directions to get somewhere that I've never been before. Big mistake. I ended up walking the entire island before I found it. But as my friend Bob Ross says, it was actually a happy accident. You see, it gave me a chance to see all of the areas of CocoCay on the busiest day possible. 2 Icon-class ships could bring in a staggering 15,000 passengers, and I know a lot of people were worried about how busy the island would be with both ships in port. Now, it was slightly more full than I've seen it on days with other 2 ships in port, but man, this island really handled all these people well. I never waited long for anything, not for the tram, nor food, or drink. There was just never really a line. Once I finally gave up looking around and asked for directions to Hideaway Beach, I found myself in one of the newer areas here at Perfect Day. This is a paid entry area, but I would 100% do this again. Hideaway Beach is a sprawling area complete with a lagoon beach and massive infinity pool that fans out to a DJ stage, swim-up bar, and more laid-back area. There's cozy loungers with umbrellas everywhere, a pizza stall, and great cabanas you can rent. And it was here that I was thankful for the travel safe I've been recommending a lot lately in my recent videos. I actually saw a security guard talking with some people and found out later in the Facebook group that someone had actually stolen fancy sunglasses from right where I had been hanging out. Royal Caribbean security returned them, so it was a happy ending. But just having this little safe that clips securely on anything would have helped prevent that from happening in the first place. I always put my ship card, wallet, phone, and camera in mine. If you'd like your own, there's a shopping link on this video or an Amazon link down in the description. I waded out into the infinity pool to meet some friends and colleagues who were on the cruise with me. We enjoyed our last hour or two on the island in the sun before all aboard. I took the shuttle back to the ship, and I had meant for this camera angle here to be facing forward, but I blame the shots at Hideaway Beach for the fact that it's looking backwards. All in all, this really was a perfect day at CocoCay. I've been kind of stubborn about loving this destination in the past, but with all of the new additions, it really is the yardstick by which everyone's private destinations should be measured. Once back aboard, we were treated to something truly special. Royal Caribbean were filming some sort of promotional material this day, and that meant a drag race between Star of the Seas and Icon out of CocoCay. And this was indescribable. And maybe if you look closely at the footage that they took from their drone, you might even see me waving at you on my balcony. With as busy as I've been on this cruise, I still haven't seen 2 of the headliner shows. So let's change that. First stop, the ice skating arena featuring Soul, which is an original production that traces the journey of the sun from sunrise all the way through sunset. This one was super immersive and even had a bit of a comedy sketch involved. If you have little ones, I'd encourage you to sit down in the front row as the performers all go out of their way to high five and excite the kiddos that are sat there watching. My favorite parts of Soul were the costumes and the theming, all of the decorations that they'd bring out on the ice, along with the stunt jumpers that were literally doing flips. I can totally see why everyone is raving about this show. And there's one other bit of entertainment on here that I kind of nerded out on. A musical and acting theatrical performance of Back to the Future. Royal Caribbean does not allow filming in here, and I won't ruin it for you. Just know they are actively looking for you to be on your phone filming, and they will yell at you in front of everyone. So just watch the show as God and Michael Bailey intended. Y'all, don't miss this one. Make sure you bring a snack because it's almost 2 hours long. And oh, by the way, there's a flying DeLorean. Woo! That was all just 3 days. I cannot believe how much there was to do on this cruise. If I had another 4 days, maybe, I could have taken it all in on Star of the Seas. And to be honest, I would love to spend another week or 2 on board this ship. This is without a doubt the benchmark for all mainline cruise operators to shoot for moving forward. And I'd highly recommend this cruise for anyone who is on the fence. Star of the Seas is going to be something you talk about for a very long time. Just like I'm still talking about that time I took the last cruise of the year on Royal Caribbean and found out some things the hard way.